Oh my gosh.
Hold on.
Don't copy me.
Ah!
Alright, say your piece.
Cheese.
That's what she wanted to say, cheese.
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 Cheese. Okay, Mommy's gonna go talk about her books. You say bye now? You say bye so Mommy can talk about her books?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, books.
No, bye.
Bye, books.
Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a long one. This is going to be chaotic because my children be long and chaotic. Okay, I should not have waited to do this at all. I should have did this a while ago. So stay with me. This is going to be a March. I keep wanting to say April because we are in April, but this is not an April wrap up. It'll be a March and February reading wrap up. I did my notes here that I read. So we read a total of 19 books that we have to go over, you guys. Let's get into it. Starting off with books I do not physically have, which is only 4, which, you know, seems like a lot, but with this stack here, actually not a lot. So, first book, because we're counting it as a book. Someone put it on Goodreads as a book, so we're counting it as a book, is the Who TF Did I Marry series on TikTok. I listened to this in a span of 2 days. And I listened to it as if it was an audiobook. I cleaned the whole entire house while listening to this. So when people make those TikToks where they literally are just cleaning with their headphones in, listening to it like an audiobook, they're not lying. That literally was me. That was me, 1,000%. That was a 5 out of 5. Her storytelling is absolutely insane. Like, she had me hooked. Like, normally if there's multiple parts on TikTok, I'm not watching all the parts. I'm really not. The fact that I binged it in 2 days, I did no actual physical reading of books in those 2 days. I just listened to it like an audiobook. So whoever put that on Goodreads, thank you, because I am counting that as a book read because it consumed my entire 2 days. It consumed my entire life. I went to work and I was like, did you watch this? And my coworker was like, no. I'm like, why? Sent it to her, got her hooked. She wasted her life away as well. So we're counting that. Basically, if you haven't watched it on TikTok, what are you doing? Go ahead and watch it. But Risa Tisa, she tells the story about her pathological lying ex-husband and the things that he does. So one of the things he would do is he would pretend to be on the phone, and she had no reason to like not believe him, because he would be like, hey, yeah, so and so said hello, like having a conversation like this on the phone, entertaining, because all the things he did. And she even lets you know in the very beginning, like, you know, I know like I'm gonna sound ridiculous, but like I was in love and I wanted to be married. I wanted to have a family and kids, all of that. So it just happened to me. So that consumed. Oh my god, this is so chaotic. Next up, we read The 7-Year Slip. I think originally I gave this 4.25. I'm gonna change it to 5 stars because I constantly do think about this book and it was so beautifully written. The story follows Clementine and her aunt and her have like this special relationship where they used to travel and stuff together, and then her aunt passes away and she leaves her this apartment, and this apartment is a magical apartment. And so Clementine didn't want to take over the apartment because it brings back too much memories
Mommy?
of her and her aunt. Yes, but she had nowhere else to go, so she decided to go ahead and take her aunt's apartment. And so this apartment transports you 7 years into the past at any time.
Mommy?
It's for transports you back 7 years in time. And so during when the first time it happens to her, happens to be 7 years in the past when she's out traveling with her aunt, and her aunt is subleasing the apartment for the summer to this guy. So there is some romance in 7 Year Slip on my Kindle, so I don't have the physical copy. And I keep seeing it in the stores, and I'm like, maybe I should just pick up the physical copy because it definitely was a 5-star. And I think that should be one of my Kindle trophies because I absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, it's not on Kindle Unlimited, so I did have to purchase it. So I'm like, do I repurchase it? Physical? I think the answer is yes, but not right now. The next 2 books I don't physically have, I listened to in March. And the first one is The Fury by Alex Merkilis. The Fury by Alex Merkilis. I can't really say his last name. He is the author of The Silent Patient. So knowing that and knowing how I love The Silent Patient, I went and listened to this. I thought about picking it up physically, and I'm glad that I actually just listened to it because I found it extremely boring. I don't even know how to tell you what this book is about. The twists were predictable. From the very beginning, we are given an unreliable narrator. And from knowing that we have an unreliable narrator, I already knew who did it immediately. So the twists were twisting and I wasn't shocked. I was kind of bored. I kind of was half listening, half not listening. And I really expected this to be like amazing because I gave The Silent Patient 5 stars. All right, next book that I don't physically have is called First Lie Wins, and I listened to this on Audible in March, and I think I originally gave it 5 stars because I think I listened to it right after The Fury, and I was so disappointed with that book. That this book was good, but I don't think it's a 5-star because I honestly have not really thought about it since listening to it. It was still really good. I would say it would probably be a solid 4 as far as thriller and mysteries because it definitely kept me entertained. The story revolves around this, the main character. She is, how do I want to say this? I guess she works for kind of like an agency, and the guy in charge, and I should have known now that I think about it, who it was. So that was a twist that I actually really did like, is I didn't know that this person was gonna be actually the person in charge of her. But he is basically trying to find out who is loyal to him. And so we're following this main character, and she's sent on an assignment to kind of find out more about this client and get intel. And so we're following this one plot line, but then there's a whole nother plot line where she actually has been having this plan all along. And you don't realize until it all kind of interconnects. And I know that's like, I feel like that's very vague and not explaining anything, but I feel like it's better that way if you go into this book completely blind, knowing that it's kind of like a secret agency that she works for to do things for this guy, like whatever he kind of asks, whatever assignments this man is asking her to do, she's doing, and she's kind of known him since she was younger. So it's kind of one of those things where she wants to get out. And I feel like that's all I can really say without giving away the entire plot. And I don't even know if that like really makes sense and makes you want to read the book, but trust me, It really is good. I would give it a 4 stars because I was hooked, and the twist, like I said previously with the Fury, I was guessing all the twists. I was so bored. But with this, I was very entertained. And again, unfortunately, I think because I haven't read mystery thrillers in a while too, I was just really excited that this one was better. It kept me entertained, that I think I gave it a 5. Not to say that it was bad. Again, I think it was more of a 4 than a 5. So I have to update that on Goodreads. But yeah, it was definitely a 4 star. It was a good read. I really did enjoy it, and I think I will pick up more from this author. Hopefully she has more. I don't know if this is like her debut book or she might have more, but I did enjoy her writing style. I did enjoy the narration. So yeah, I would definitely give it a 4 star. That's a lot of rambling. You guys are probably like, girl, what? I told you this is gonna be a little chaotic, but you know, whatever. I kind of got the kids settled with bubble guppies, so let's try to wrap this up because editing Audrey is gonna be so what WTF. Let's get into the rest of the books I have physically. We are not gonna go in order because I kind of just threw everything here, not in order. So in March, I didn't start. I already read Assassin's Blade, which again, I said this in many videos. You can read the Throne of Glass series in different orders. I think there is a recommended order on her website, but other people like on TikTok and YouTube have been recommending, at least from what I see, that you read Assassin's Blade first. And so what Assassin's Blade is like the prequel, so everything that kind of happened before we get into Throne of Glass. So we kind of see how Selena was this assassin, and we get to see kind of what she did and how she fell, right? So this takes place after, I wanted to say before, but it is after these events. So she gets captured and she is now fighting for her freedom in this book, Throne of Glass. I gave this a 3.75 4 star. I feel like this is off to a good series and off to a good start. And I can see why people love this series. I definitely at first was questioning if Assassin's Blade first was the right reading order for me, because I didn't think I was gonna like this series, but now that we have moved on to Crown of Midnight, I am enjoying it, and I already have the next couple books in the series, so it's just a matter of time of when I pick it up. But I am dying to get back into the series. So we did read these two in March, Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. Again, this is a series, so I don't want to give too much away, especially because, you know, if you didn't read it, then I'm not going to spoil it for you. That's like 3.75. This is a solid 4. Very good. We're getting the hang of it. I think a lot of people have mentioned Queen of Shadow was their favorite, so we shall see. We started One Dark Window. This was a 5-star read for me, and I definitely put this in a vlog when I was going back and forth between listening and reading it. I did pick up 2 Twisted Crowns. This is a duology. This is a fantasy book. This deals with a unique magic system where it's kind of like tarot cards, where you can possess the magic, but the thing is, magic comes with a price and it can consume you. So the ending was definitely kind of like a cliffhanger, so I've been dying to get back into this. So I think I'm currently reading 1 book right now, and then I will get back into this and finish it. I think I'm just kind of nervous to finish it because I don't know what's going to happen, especially with the cliffhanger. Next up, if you've seen, it's already posted now, but I did this in March. I read Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates. See how beautifully I annotated and highlighted it? Oh, I'm so obsessed with this series right now. I'm currently reading the next 2 in there, and I'm currently trying to vlog it, but we'll see when that gets out. So Magnolia Parks, I like how these 2 follow like the same timeline, but this is just Magnolia and this is just Daisy, essentially. And so this definitely gives London high society gossip girl vibes. Magnolia Parks, I gave a 5 stars. Daisy Hates, I gave 4.25. At first I wasn't really liking Daisy Hates, and you'll see that in the vlog, simply because Daisy's character is kind of like a harder character to like and to enjoy, but once you really get into the book and you get into her character, you kind of see why she's like that, and she becomes a little bit more relatable. So a fun thing that I learned now that I'm in the next 2 books is that you can actually tandem read them. Someone recommended that you don't do it on the first read, but I'm actually enjoying going back and forth because it's the same timeline. So you finish the chapters you're supposed to read in one book, then you go to the next book, and it's like right there, like right where you like left off kind of in that book, but like different perspectives. And I actually really enjoy that so much. I kind of wish I did that with these, but I had no idea. I literally just picked this up and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like it. And if I known I would have liked it, I wouldn't have waited to pick this up. I would have gotten it when the original covers were out, because I don't like these covers. I don't like these covers. I definitely like the original covers more. The original covers were so much nicer, but it is what it is. I have these covers. I am obsessed with this world. Only thing I'm missing is the original cover. Next up, I had a really good month of reading. This was in February. Was this in February? Hold on, let me look at my notes. Like I told you, this is all over the place. It was in February. So this is a science fiction by Octavia Butler. Kinder follows Dana and her husband. And so Dana has, basically she gets transported back into the past during slavery, and something keeps drawing her back to the past, and so each visit is kind of longer, but when she gets back home she realizes not that much time has passed, but a lot of times has passed since she like has been drawn back and forth. So it just goes back and forth between her and the present time and her getting drawn back there, the effects on her, how she's feeling, because, you know, remember, it's a different time. And even in the book, it's the present time there is like 1970, and then she's transported into the past with slavery. And her husband is white too at the time, so that kind of, it all plays a big part, because, you know, they still face like racism during their relationship because she's black and he's white. And so then they're transported back to slavery, where it's even like, you know, they're enslaved. So I don't like, there is an actual show on Hulu, and I don't like how they swapped it and they made it so that they were not husband and wife. They made it so they were boyfriend and girlfriend. I do recommend this, and I enjoyed reading this. I do want to read more by this author. I thought this was a new author, to be completely honest, but this book is written so long ago and I'm just not picking it up. So she does have more books that I can read. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, it is on Libby if you have Libby, so it may be available to you on your library. And the narration of this book was really good. All right, next up in March, I read The Stand-In by Lily Chu. This book was a 5 stars as well. Oh my gosh. I feel so weird saying I have so many 5 stars, but I just feel like I'm reading really good books that fit me, that I personally like. I mean, I did give something a 2.5 earlier. But yeah, this was another 5-star read for me. And I don't know if I would categorize this as like a romance either. Maybe a lit fiction. I guess the same as The 7-Year Slip would be like lit fiction. I love this because this is actually free on Audible too. Okay. And it's actually an interconnected series, which I am going to devour. I didn't know that. So there's like 2 more books, and I think they're all on Audible too. So I'll probably get to listen to that really soon. This is The Stand-In. This is about our main character, Gracie, and she's easily mistaken for this actress. The actress is going through a lot mentally. And so she asked Lily to kind of like stand in for her for promotion for the new up and coming movie. And the reason why I feel like I love this so much is because there is a lot of mental health awareness in this book. Again, the actress is dealing with depression, and it's not really talked about in, you know, Asian communities, minority communities, Black communities. It's not really something that you talk about. I feel like it's kind of one of those things that kind of gets like swept under the rug, and you kind of like, well, build a bridge and get over it. Like, who cares that you're depressed? And that's why I really love that this is strongly encouraging you to go get help. Like, she talks about, you know, getting medicine if you need it, like going to the therapy, and, you know, the characters do a lot of work on themselves. So there is a little bit of romance in here, but I would say it's so much more than that. And I literally almost cried reading this book. This and the 7-Year Slip. I would say if you take anything away from this video, definitely read 7-Year Slip, The Stand-In, and Kinder. Those are definitely my top 3 between February and March. Those are books I highly recommend, like a 5-6 star. Like, I will definitely do a reread. I definitely think about this all the time. The cover is gorgeous. I love the characters. I really thought this was gonna be like a romance, but you know, there's only a smidge of it, and I didn't even care. I still love the story. I still love the message. I love the strong mental health representation. So we read Love in Other Words. This is from my reading romance in a week video. I didn't touch on it too much because I had already like finished this when I decided to start reading romance for a week. But this was technically a part of it. I gave this 4 stars. I heard people say that this made them cry. This was okay to me. Like, it was okay. I still enjoyed it. This is like a childhood friends to lovers type of book. It stays in one perspective, and I really feel like I would love it more if it switched perspective between the female main character, Macy, and then if we got Elliot's point of view as well. I feel like that would make the story a 5-star for me, so I could just be inside of his head. Like, he obviously is still in love with her throughout this entire book, but she has things that she's got to work through, and so I really did enjoy this. So another 5-star. What am I talking about? If you take anything from this book, 7-Year Slip, The Stand-In, Kinder, and this book here, I will have to tag her, but I think Carrie can read for this because she recommends this book so much, and it is perfection. I loved it. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but like with witches. With witches. The magic in here is insane. The ending, I did cry with this, and I'm mad I didn't catch my reaction. I'm trying to get better, guys. I'm sorry. I truly am. I'm trying to get better. But yeah, I definitely cried reading this. This was so beautifully written. I definitely want to read more by Olivia Blake. A lot of people say her writing is pretentious, but I really enjoyed this. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy the rest of her work, but One for My Enemy is definitely it. I love a good Romeo and Juliet retelling, and I feel like that's all you need to know to read this, is that it's Romeo and Juliet with witches. Next we have Bride. I think this was a 4.5, so close to a 5. I think on Goodreads I put a 5, but it's not quite a 5. I think I might have said it was a 5 in the video. Not quite a 5. I do love Miss Allie Hazelwood's writing. This is my first book by her. This is a paranormal romance, so it's a vampire and a werewolf, and our main character, Misery, what a great name for a vampire. She is basically kind of traded in the Alpha Pack so that the vampires and werewolves can have like peace alliance, and so she is to marry the werewolf, the head of the pack, and she does. And then there's also a little element of like mystery because she's trying to find out what happened to her friend as well. So this was a good read. The characters, I love the characters. It felt like they were just like real people, and they just having real conversations, and it was just fun. I love the writing style to this. I think what knocks it down for me is the fact that I really wish we had the main male character's point of views. We're literally only given crumbs. We're only given crumbs. Like right here in the beginning, we're given crumbs of his thoughts. I'm like, I need a whole chapter with his thoughts, Miss Allie. Like, I need his thoughts. Next, we have Long Shot by Miss Kennedy Ryan. I love everything she writes. This for me kind of fell short. This is like a 3.75. This is a basketball romance. This follows August and Iris, and August is a basketball player. Iris is a she went to school for like sports broadcasting, I think, journalism, something like that. And her story was very traumatic, and I feel like it's more than a romance because she had to really work on herself and heal, and she went through some very traumatic stuff through here, so it's more than just like a sports romance. But the thing is, I found myself hating August's perspective, so that's what dropped the book completely lower. For me, it just felt like insta love. It felt like I gotta have her, I gotta have her, and I just could not stand his perspective, his thoughts. They were kind of boring. Felt like insta love. I don't like insta love. I think this is my first book where I really experienced like insta love, and I didn't like it because he was obsessed, like really like possessive, obsessed, like she's gonna be mine, and I was like, I don't like this at all. I almost DNF'd it, to be completely honest, but I started getting deeper and deeper involved into Iris's character, and I wanted to see her work, and I wanted to see her grow and like get through this trauma that she was facing. But I kind of wish she had a different love interest because he really blew me. Then I read the 5th season. This is by N.K. Jemisin, and this was very interesting. I think this was a 4 stars. It was hard to get into at first. I did have to like do a couple times. I listened to this on audio, so I did have to like restart and re-listen to it a couple of times. And the reason why is that the one of the perspectives here is a second person, so it's like you do this, you do that, and I touched on that a lot in my listening to audio for a week video. So if you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that. But I touched on that then, that it was a little bit confusing and it was hard to follow at times for me personally, because I was like, what? I do what? But then I actually found myself more interested in that perspective. And then the twist at the end I kind of saw happen. It follows 3 women at 3 different points in life. So it follows Dima in her childhood, and so this basically is the lead up to the end of the world. And so there are these origins, and you're not supposed to be an origin. These are extremely powerful human beings. They can kind of like make the earth shake and do like really crazy things like that, like have those type of abilities. And so Dima, her parents turn her in, and so now she's sent to this little camp, basically kind of to be monitored because she's an origin, and you know it's illegal, and you kind of have to turn them in, or you know it's just bad for you as a parent, as a family. You cannot have them, you have to turn them in. Then it faces Sinai, who I guess is like, she is now, I guess, what would we call it? Like an academy or something like that. And like she's with other origins, and she is trying to basically kind of like rise in the ranks. We'll put it like that. She's basically trying to like rise in the ranks. And so she wants to rise in the ranks, but because she's a female, they, the people in charge kind of see her as like someone to impregnate basically and carry the seed so that they can have more, because they want to control them and control their powers and stuff like that. So then we also follow Essence. I can't remember her name because this is the second person perspective, so everything was you. So I don't remember her name. It's not on the back, but I think it's like Essence or something like that. And she's a full-blown adult, and she has 2 kids, and she comes home and she finds out that her husband has their baby, because their baby has shown origin powers, and now she's on the lookout for her husband and her other daughter, or her other child, her daughter, and that her daughter also has the abilities too. So she's on the search for them. This was really good. It was really unique the way that it was written. The ending makes me think that the next book is gonna be completely different. We'll say like that, because if I say what I was gonna say, I feel like that's kind of a giveaway to the twist that I'm alluding to, that I'm trying not to tell you guys because I'm trying not to spoil it. But you should just definitely pick this up and see what it's about. It's the 5th. Next, we read this in February. This is Act Your Age, Eve Brown. This was a 3.75. This was a little cute romantic comedy, kind of, I guess, because a lot of this had me laughing. This actually is a series, and I didn't know that. But again, it's an interconnected standalone series, so you don't have to read them like in order. You don't have to read them all together. But now I kind of want to read it because I want to see about the other sisters, because their banter was hilarious. And so this is basically just follows Eve Brown, and it literally acts your age. So she's kind of immature, can't really keep a job. She ends up stumbling across Jacob, who is, he owns like a little restaurant inn, and it goes from there. The romance kind of goes from there, and I thought it was really cute. So this was like a 3.75. My camera's gonna die. So last one here, this was definitely in February. This was my first read because this went from January to February, this thick book. This is Crescent City. I gave this a 4.25. I really did enjoy the characters. I liked Bryce. I liked the ending. I'm really dying to get to the next book, but what happened was I decided to just read Throne of Glass and then get back into here, because people say it just hits harder if you have read Throne of Glass before, Throne of Glass and ACOTAR before you read this one. So I guess there's like little Easter eggs that like will help you go on to the next books and stuff like that, because there's supposed to be another ACOTAR, and that's what I'm waiting for, because I absolutely love ACOTAR. But this follows Bryce, and Bryce is half fae, half human, and her character, I can see how her character is kind of unlikable, but I liked her character actually in this book. It's because she's kind of seen as like this party girl, and she just lets people see her in that way. But she actually knows more and does more than like she lets on, and that can kind of be frustrating, and I can see why people don't really like her character. But I really did like her character. I like it kind of was like a little mystery, because her best friend was head of like the wolf tribe, because there's like wolves, there's like shapeshifters, and a bunch of other like different type of like creatures and other stuff. Like there's fae, there's, you're not really supposed to be like half fae, or like it's not, they don't, you're not accepted as fae if you're like half fae, half human, like Bryce. So she's not really accepted, and so she's trying to find out who murdered her best friend essentially. So there's kind of like a mystery, murder mystery kind of in here, and so she's trying to figure out that, like, that's her main thing. Because years after, you're kind of thrown into, like, years after the brutal murders of her best friend, who is aware, another, like, tragedy kind of happens. And, of course, they're thinking our girl Bryce is, like, involved somehow. And so she's like, no, like, I'm trying to figure it out, because she's still grieving the loss of her best friend, because that's her best friend. And she kind of knows everything about her, and they were just tied together. So I really did enjoy that. That was a 4.25. I'm kind of nervous to continue on the series, because especially with what I've been hearing about the third book, but you know, we're not there yet. We still gotta finish Throne of Glass, and then we'll get back into Crescent City, and then hopefully we get more ACOTAR, because I'm going to do ACOTAR reread. But anyway, that is my March and February wrap up. Remind me to never do this again, because I exhausted my battery. It was chaotic because my kids don't know how to nap anymore, and this was just not a great idea to just wrap up 2 months. I kept saying, you know, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, and today I did it, and never again. Never again. Now I gotta put all these books back and like wrap up everything else, and I'm confused because I'm going from phone to camera to phone to camera, and I've got other videos to edit. Anywho, if you made it this far, go ahead and drop a crescent moon down below. Like, comment, subscribe, do all those things below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.